Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Why was Amy in this episode? I mean, I saw her in the opening credits, and I was just like, I gotta sit there and say, besides that whole Ass Manlander storyline, what's the point of Amy actually being on the show? Like, she doesn't actually do anything. Like, there's another nurse, I can't remember her name, something with a D. I felt like they just could have picked like any random nurse to go there, like a stand-in or something like that, to talk to Austin, to give him the information, or to talk to Curtis and to give him information. And instead, we get a total of 5 minutes with Amy, which was like, why were you even here? I don't know. I've never been a fan of that character, to be honest. Like, especially in the beginning when I used to watch her, she was just really annoying. Like, just really annoying. But I just didn't really understand the point of that character just, like even being on this episode today. It was just pointless. Let's talk about Curtis for a minute. So, Curtis, approaches Portia. They go outside to talk. And, you know what, before I really kind of dive into it, because a lot of stuff, was from Stella, here's the thing about Stella and her take on Friday's episode with Curtis. She wasn't wrong in what she said to Curtis. Let's be very clear. As much as I do not like that woman, she wasn't wrong. The issue was that it was none of her goddamn business. That's where I take issue with. The fact that she, threw herself into Curtis's and Portia's, whatever, what I'm saying? The fact that she just kind of just threw herself in there without anyone asking is what I took issue with. And you go in this episode today, and pretty much, when Curtis was like, listen, I get it, Stella kind of wants you away from me because of whatever, well-intentions and all that stuff. But, Portia was like, yeah, she was right, I mean, you're not even divorced yet. You haven't been, what I'm saying, like, it's not, pretty much she was like, she didn't want to be a rebound chick. She didn't want to be a rebound chick. He's not even divorced yet, And to be honest, when she kissed him, he pulled away. Now out of nowhere it's like, oh, now I want to be with you or whatever. Now it's just push to sit there and be with Portia. Where at first you was like, is it too soon? Bro, she didn't even sign the divorce papers yet. What do you mean is it too soon? Well, listen, I don't know, like as far as like the exact date or time from someone being divorced to someone, being with somebody else. I'm not going to say, I don't know the exact time frame, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, this dude literally cannot wait until the damn ink dries. But she was like, let's just be friends. I don't want to ruin anything that we can have. And of course, Curtis just keep on pushing, like, no, maybe we could be more. Let's not miss out on an opportunity. This, that, and the third. Bro, you do realize that you didn't even sign the divorce papers and you're already sitting there trying to, like, I don't know. It just, listen, she's Portia. I mean, a chick is bad, but, like, yo, you might want to just breathe a little easy. But, Portia got called away to deal, with Alexis because Sam decides so I can bet you today with Austin. The minute Austin came in and she started, he starts, saying he was going to be Alexis' doctor to check her out and stuff like that. Sam was like, oh, well, what are you doing it? Da-da-da-da. This, that, and the third. I just find it really curious. Da-da-da-da. I'm like, are you a cop? I don't understand. He's actually at his job. Your job is exactly what again? Because like you don't really go to work anymore, right? You just what do you do exactly? But, she's asking all sorts of questions. Dante is, I don't remember if we said anything or not because I'm gonna be honest, I was too annoyed by Sam. But Austin was like, so would you like another doctor? And, at first Alexis like, no, but Sam was like, yeah. He was like, all right, fine. I don't need to deal with this headache. So he just walked off and he got Portia because I really don't blame him. But, they're being, well, here's the thing. I mean, let's be honest. Whatever Austin's there for, it seems like it's something, it seems like he's hiding something. So her instincts isn't wrong, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, she still thinks that, he had something to do with, the kidnapping or whatever. And I'm like, he was knocked out. He was unconscious. He came in General Hospital the same time that Maxie did. So what was the plan? I don't understand. Whatever. Anyway, he leaves to get Portia, and she checks her out or whatever. So, but Curtis did go to Jordan after talking to Amy because apparently Amy needed to be in this episode. Talked to Amy, went to the police station to see TJ and stuff, and saw Sean. They talked for a little bit. And then Curtis apologized to Jordan. And I was like, good. I mean, listen, here's the thing. Everyone makes mistakes. Okay? I mean, this was a jackass mistake, and it did make him look hella foolish, but, it was a mistake. She didn't hold any grudges or anything like that, They both wished each other well, and, that was about it. Jordan was like, I'll sign divorce papers, and I'll be that. Let's talk about Maxie for a minute. For the past couple of days, every time I see Maxie, pretty much act like a jackass with this whole Louise storyline. No, I've just been like, pretty much been a dick, and just pretty much making fun of her as far as like, the fact that she keeps ruining her own plan and stuff like that. And watching it today, I was just like, you know what, it's not only just I'm out of material, I just I don't really care anymore. She comes over there, and at first she tells Brooklyn, because Brooklyn's like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? And, Maxie's freaking out. She's like, oh, well, Austin's in town, and he could sit there and recognize me, or he could recognize you, he could recognize the baby. So she's freaking out about that, and Brooklyn's trying to calm her down. But when that conversation's over, Maxie's like, so, since Monica isn't here, can I see the baby? Can I see the baby now? And Brooklyn's like, no. And at first, Maxie had that. I'm sorry, what did you just say? To Maxie's credit, listen, I'm not a mother, I'm not a parent, but to Maxie's credit, I don't blame her for giving that look. The problem is, Brooklyn's like, listen, I'm not trying to keep you from your child. You just are undermining your own plan. You're just undermining your own plan. And after, I don't know, a good 7 minutes, because I'm not going to lie, I started looking at my phone, because I couldn't sit there and just listen to her talk about how much she missed her child and yada yada yada, and it was just like, it's not that I don't care, it's just this was your plan. And to be honest, I'm just kind of tired of you just trying to jack up your plan every chance that you get. But finally, Maxie was like, after Brooklyn really talked some sense into her, Maxie was like, I'm going to leave Port Charles. I mean, listen, at this point, we all know why. And if you don't know why, if you knew, it's because the actress, Kristen Storm, had brain surgery. So she's going to be out for a while. She's going to be out for a good couple of months. Could be 2 months. Could be longer. I'm assuming it's longer than 2 months. It's going to be way longer than 2 months. I don't know if it's going to be a year, but it's going to be a while. I mean, it's brain surgery. So I don't know what they're gonna wind up doing as far as Maxie comes back. Cause see, here's the issue with this, and it's somewhat the same issue that's going on in Days. Cause let's say she goes away, and they're able to, get in contact with her or try to tell her, hey, listen, the coast is clear, Peter's dead, you can come back. The actress may not be coming back for a while, then what are they going to have to do, recast? Now, it's kind of weird. It's like a door. You know what, never mind. But it's sort of like the same thing on Days. Now, I know most people don't watch Days, but if you do, the thing is, this character named Ciara was missing. She was kidnapped for a while. And her mother went to go and find her. So now she's not in their town of Salem or whatever, looking for her daughter. The thing is, her daughter actually came back. She's alive, she's well, all that good stuff. So technically, the mother can come back at any point in time. The problem is that the actress that plays Hope, well, she's done playing Hope. So now you have this weird thing where it's like, okay, why isn't she come back to Salem? Like, there's people, she has family, she has friends. There's no rhyme or reason why she shouldn't be back in Salem. So, I feel like I'm just hoping that they'll come up with some solution, because it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, there's something about this storyline that's a little kind of, I don't want to say broken, but it's not, some stuff that's just not really working. But yeah, she decides to leave, so I'm like, alright, good. At least you came up with something. You came up with something. So yeah. I'm gonna be honest, the whole scene with Carly and Austin was just like, I feel like in some sort of ways it was just pointless. Like, all he kept doing was asking Carly, because at first, he was talking to Carly, asking about, like, alright, where's my office at or whatever in the wing and stuff like that. So, she kind of directed him there, and, he started talking about the Corinthos, and, is everyone, connected to everyone else as far as family and stuff like that. But then he just kept asking her a bunch of like random questions and stuff like that about different people, and at first he tried to act like he was he's new to town, and is everyone connected to everyone. But then he started just throwing out a bunch of names, and Carly was like, for somebody who seems like they're lost, you certainly do know a lot of people. But it was pretty much just a lot of random questions, and then he was like, alright, I'm being awkward now, so I'm gonna leave, bye, and he just walks off. And Carly was like, yeah, the hell was that about? Other than that, it was pointless. It didn't really lead to anywhere, at least anywhere that I can see. If you actually saw value in that scene, please tell me why. I generally want to know. And I always read the comments, so yeah, if you know why, or you found it valuable or interesting, please tell me why, because I'm at a bit of a loss. Now Carly was sitting there talking to Jason, and Jason was like, yo, why did you do that? Like, what did you say to her? Like, what's going on as far as you and Britt? Like, why'd you get upset for her? And Carly was like, well, I didn't want to sit there and, I want to make sure that she knew it was done, and that she doesn't have any false hope, and yada, yada, yada. So it's like, I'm trying, she trying to make it seem like she was doing it for Britt's, like, best interest or whatever, to sit there and spare Britt. And I'm just like, here's the thing. I get where Britt was coming from. I mean, I get where Carly was coming from. I really do. But I'm going to be honest, I really didn't enjoy that scene at all. Carly came across as, like, hella bitchy. And that attitude that she has sometimes, I'm just like, yo, you gotta... I mean, I know it's a soap opera, but I'm like, yo, I really can't wait till she comes up against somebody that's, like, ready to, like, beat the bricks off of her. Because I feel like Carly needs somebody to... not take her down a notch, but to kind of like be like, yo, I'm not dealing with you, And the only reason why I felt like Britt couldn't do it at that point in time is because Britt was heartbroken over Jason. But I feel like somebody needs to kind of like really stand up to Carly, because she has this attitude where she feels she can just say whatever she wants, whenever she wants, to anyone, with little to no consequences. I like Carly, but she comes across as hella arrogant. Um, and so yeah, she's sitting there talking to Jason. She's like, yeah, that's why I did it. To spare her feelings and yada yada yada. And Jason was like, yo, listen, I told her it was over. It was over. You didn't need to add already to her pain. And you talk a little bit more, and Jason's like, I understand why we're doing this. Like, we're doing it. Like, let that just be it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If Carly actually has some sort of feelings, like actual romantic feelings for Jason, I'm gonna be like, wow, that is that is messed up on an entirely different level, because it's not a friendship, like a bondship or whatever. This is like romantic feelings, and I'm just like, kidding me? But I already played the blame game. I'm not gonna sit there and do that again. It was good seeing Sean, following TJ for a little bit. Even when he went back to his cell, he went down there with him, and TJ was like, "Yo, listen, we gotta fire this up. We gotta find the person responsible for shooting Hayden. We gotta get you justice. We gotta do something." But yeah, that was pretty much about it. I feel like there was more to it, but I mean, just seeing the scenes between those two was cool. Let's talk about Dante and Sam for a minute. This is after they left the room when Portia came in, because apparently Austin wasn't good enough to be a doctor for her. But at first Dante was like, we gotta sit there and talk about that kiss. And Sam was like, listen, I'm drunk. I was drunk. Mom has her whole situation going on. I can't really sit there and deal with it. But then, Sam is worried that, because of the plan and everything like that, like, there's going to be major backlash. And, Alexis could be affected by that, by Carson. Because it's not like she's going to be in jail right away. And it's not like she doesn't have friends in high places that can pretty much make a lot of people's lives very, very, very miserable. This is what happens when you are a miserable, racist piece of poo. Because I'm not cursing. Even though with that woman, well, yeah. So she's worried about that, and Dante said, says it may be a way for him to help. I have no idea how, but okay, I guess he'll find a way. Oh, and after Jax talked to Britt to sit there and check on her, Lisa went in to also sit there and check on her, and, she was there pretty much just to comfort her and stuff like that. Now, towards the end of it, Jason was going to go and see Britt, but, he stopped because he saw her, hugging her mom and stuff like that, and talking about how much pain and sadness she's in, and so he just kind of turned away, and I'm just like, bro, what are you doing there in the first place? What are you doing, Jason? See, this is... somebody actually said in the comment section that they tend to dumb people down to make for drama. They dumb people down to make for drama. And Jason, you just sat there and practically told, which by the way, he, when he passed by Jax, and he was like, oh, don't hurt her. He's like, oh, well, she's been through a lot, don't hurt her. And Jax was like, yeah, I'm not the one that was doing that. And I'm like, listen, I may have my differences with Jax sometimes, and Jason, as much as I love you, he was right. I mean, seriously, he was right. You didn't... I don't even know where to begin on the fact... I get where Jason was trying to come from, but it's like, bro, don't. Just don't. We all know why you're doing it, but it's not helping how she feels. So don't sit there and start walking up to other people talking about, don't hurt her. Yeah, okay. And then he's about to sit there and walk in Britt's office. Like, what was that going to do? I don't understand that. She literally said, I want no parts of you. And I'm pretty sure it was twice now. So what does he decide to do? Oh, I'm going to walk over in Britt's office anyway. Because that makes sense. The logical, I just... There was something really funny when well, not funny, but when Dante and Sam was sitting there replaying that moment before they kissed, Dante was like, he was a fool, like he left you like that, like, I wouldn't have done that. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, who else wouldn't have done that? Would have chose you over the business? True. Listen, I know that it was very divided when Drew was Jason for a little bit. There was people that really liked him. There was people that, people that was like, hey, he's cool, but I mean, he's not Jason. And I was kind of, well, let's be honest, I was actually one of them. I was one of the people that was like, I liked him for who he was, but I'm like, come on. But he was better for Sam in the fact that he did choose her over the business. So, like always, I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know what I'm missing, but if I did, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. This episode was okay. It wasn't terrible. I think there was just some parts that just wasn't needed. Like the whole Carly and Britt thing. I mean, the whole Carly and Austin thing was not needed. I didn't think Amy needed to be in that episode at all. And the stuff with Maxie and Brooklyn wasn't really needed. Like, hell, even if she said that she was going to be leaving Port Charles, she could have had somebody else to do it. She could have wrote a note. Like, I just felt like that whole scene, I guess maybe because it was the final breaking point. Like, her messing up her own plan was like the final breaking point where she was just like, yeah, I can't keep doing that. Because I said I was going to vow to sit and protect my daughter, and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm like, wow, it only took like how many episodes before that actually came to your head? So, I guess it was, to be honest, I in some ways it was needed, but to be honest, I was kind of like, I guess for the first few minutes of her just acting like, well, Maxie, I was just kind of just looking at my phone because I'm like, when is this going to be over? When is this scene going to be over? Because I don't really have anything left to say. Anyway, so yeah, this episode was okay. I don't know why they actually have Amy in the opening credits for, like, unless they actually give her something to do and not be super annoying, then it would make sense, and now I would be somewhat happy about it. Her storyline wasn't bad in the Axe Manor the Axe Manlanner. I forgot how do you say it, but that story was actually good. I know a lot of people was kind of like frowning and whatever, and they wasn't really feeling it, but I actually did like that storyline. It was one of the very few storylines that I liked with that actor, that character that I can't, Nathan. I thought that was actually a really good storyline, and they needed to give him something when the actress left again, so I thought this was actually perfect. Anyway, yeah, now I'm just rambling. So yeah, write your comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are in this episode. I will see you in the next video.